Hey y'all, today we're doing some okra again. Don't get tired of the okra, it's just that season and you gotta do with it while you have it. When you buy it in the winter from the grocery store, it's just not like fresh. So I try to do everything I can with it. Today I have a couple of tomatoes from my garden and I have some green onions. Sweet Hunter doesn't like these, but he likes what I'm fixing to make. I have some peppers that's out of my garden, just a few. We don't need much. Yesterday we had fried okra and cornbread for supper. That probably doesn't sound like much to y'all, but it was heavenly. It really was. Today I'm doing a little bit of okra and I'm gonna mix all this together and I'm gonna make a stewed okra and tomatoes and onions and peppers. But if you buy it in the grocery store in the can, you will, it'll be called stewed okra and tomatoes, I believe. But you know what? I know exactly what's going in this today. And in a can, you don't want to turn it around and see all the chemicals and things that are in there. So all this may not be organic. I don't know about the okra. The rest of it I know I haven't sprayed. And I tell Sweet Hunter, do not spray anything around my gardens. So I know that it hasn't been sprayed. So to me, knowing what goes in this means a lot to me. So I'm gonna cut up this okra and tomatoes and I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's easy. I try to always have a garbage bowl or a plate or something to put the stems and everything in. But all I'm doing is just cutting this bite-sized pieces, and you can even do it long, however you like it. And I'm just gonna throw the stems and ends in there. If I had chickens, they would get them, but these will be going into my garden to help compost my garden next spring. I'm already excited about my garden in the spring. So I'm just gonna cut up some of these into bite-sized pieces. I may not use all these. Doesn't take a lot for us. So while I'm cutting that, we'll talk about my garden. I have a gardening video that I did here at the lake with my raised bed gardens. I'd love for you to go watch it. It is a little lengthy, but I'm building a raised bed, and there's a lot to it that you have to do every year. But once you get it established, like I did on the video that I just did, then you're good to go. And I'll tell you all this again in the gardening video when I do a gardening tour. My broccoli is doing excellent. Cabbage is starting to pick up. Cauliflower and Brussels sprouts, it'll come along, I'm sure. So I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll bring you back when we do the rest of it. We're doing stewed okra and tomatoes today, and I'm just adding a few things myself, whatever I have. Sometimes I've added potatoes in here too, and I do have a couple of potatoes, but I don't think I want to wait on those to cook. So I'm just going to continue cutting these. So we've got the okra done. Now I'm gonna do the tomatoes. I'm not peeling them. If there's a bad place on it, yes, I'm going to cut it out. See, one little place, I'll cut it out. And then I'm just gonna cut these in chunks. These have all been washed. Always wash your stuff. Always wash your cutting board. Many wonder why I say things like that a lot. I'm gonna core that right there because it's a pretty big core. But there's many people on here that don't realize you have to wash the cutting board. There's young people that have never had anybody show them how to cook. So that's why I say things like that and do things like that. It's not that I know more than you or that I think you don't know it. But there are people that don't know to do that. So I think I'm gonna use these onions up because they are about done. I might better do them a little bit smaller, some of them big chunks, but they will cook down. Now these peppers have been in my refrigerator. They're out of my garden, and they're a little soft, but I am going to use them anyway. There's nothing wrong with them. That one has a bad spot on it, but I'm just gonna cut these up into pieces. I'm gonna cut that bad spot off. I don't know if these are hot or mild. I don't know, I don't remember, I had them both. But either way, it'll be good. Does that look good or what? Now that's all I'm putting in mine. And you wouldn't believe what that'll make. For just the two of us, it'll be great. So I'm gonna show you how I cook these on the stove. So the first thing I do is I start with some olive oil, and you can use any oil that you want. I prefer this. Actually, this was gifted to me by my daughter. She knows I love olive oil, so I'm just gonna put a little olive oil in here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna saute these when the pan gets hot. You do not have to use an iron skillet. I love iron skillets. My husband, not so much because he don't like to lift them, but I'm used to it, and I'm very excited about all the iron skillets I have. I have to show you my iron skillet wall. I want more. I've got some down that I've got to season downstairs, and I might take you along when we do that. So let's let this pan get hot. So I've almost got my pan too hot. I put a piece of okra in there to see if it was ready, and it was. So I've turned it off just to give it a second to cool down. For some reason, I love this stove, but for some reason there's not really a good low on it. I need to get it checked. Maybe some of y'all know. So it's a ZLine gas stove with an electric oven. I love it. I love it. But the eyes don't really have a low on it, and I'm sure there's some way to lower the pressure of the gas. So if any of y'all know that, let me know, because I've been meaning to call Lowe's or the company ZLine and ask them, but let me know that. Okay, let's get started on this delicious stewed tomatoes and okra. So I'm gonna turn this back on. I'm going to add just my okra first. And I'm just going to saute this in the olive oil and an iron skillet. You do not have to use an iron skillet. I just prefer an iron skillet for anything I cook in, just about. And I'll try to remember to show y'all my iron skillet wall. So all I'm going to do, because this will take the longest, I am going to just kind of saute this around. I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. You can do this with any kind of oil. You can do it with butter. The only thing about butter is it's easily burnt. So you'd have to really watch it close. So I'm going to saute this and get these a little bit done, about halfway done before I add the other things. It's already looking good. No breading, just sauteing the okra. Thing I'm going to add is I'm going to add the onions and peppers. So I've got that maybe halfway done. I don't know. Y'all, you can do so many things with this. That pepper's so big. Like I say, you could add potatoes to this. This could be a whole meal. Throw some chicken in there, that cooked chicken. Even if you have a rotisserie chicken, this could be a whole meal, y'all. It smells so good. Get all them little onions in there. The reason I'm waiting till last to add my tomatoes is because tomatoes cook up so quick. I'm just going to saute this. And in my okra. Okay, now I'm going to add my tomatoes. Tomatoes have a lot of juice in them, a lot of water, so they will provide some of the water. I'm going to change spoons where I won't get complaints about scraping that pan, which I'm sure it is annoying hearing that. You'd think I'd learn, wouldn't you? So I'm just going to saute these. Like I say, the tomatoes take no time at all. Isn't that beautiful? Again, if you want to do potatoes, if you have a leftover baked potato, that would be good. It's already done. Just saute it in there. That tomato's just a little big. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to let these cook for about 5 more minutes. So all in all, it's maybe a 10 or 15 minute dish from cooking time. If you want the okra real done, I do like a little bit scorched, just a little bit. I'm going to add some of this in some water. You do not have to use anything to season it. Let's see if I can get this open. And I'm going to add it into some water, about a cup of water. Just a heaping tablespoonful. And I'm only doing it to get it some chicken broth flavor. I didn't do that real hot water so it's not dissolving real good, but it definitely will in here. You can only use water if that's what you want. You can use chicken broth. You can use beef broth. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing it to taste. I'm going to do a little more salt and pepper because I've added the tomatoes and the peppers and onions and all that. Just a little bit more of that. Now, you could stop right here and serve this if the okra's done, and it would be delicious. The tomatoes like just a little bit, but you can do what I'm going to do and make it stewed. So all I'm doing is adding a little water, about a cup of water. That didn't dissolve real good, but it will in this heat. I wish y'all could smell this. It smells so good. And that water brought the temperature down, so it'll have to be brought back up. I'll boil this in about another 5 to 7 minutes. And it will cook the water down. I like to cook the water down. Some people like the juice. I like that too. So, y'all, you could do anything with this. You could add beans to it. This could be a soup base. But I'm going to serve it with smoked salmon that Sweet Hunter smoked on his grill. And I had it in the freezer. And I'm probably going to make some 30-minute rolls, which I'll do a video on that too one day. It's going to be good. So now the temperature is rising. Once once that comes up back to temperature, it'll cook some of this water down. You just do it to the way you prefer it. If you like a soup mixture, I would like this right here because I love soup. But I'm gonna cook it just a little bit more. Make sure everything's done. So here's my iron skillet wall. Of course that one on the left is missing, but it's just very simple. I've got more iron skillets. I need to figure out a way to display them because I can't display them right there because of the cabinet opening. So I need a bigger kitchen, I think. No, I'm good. I'm good, but I love them. That's mostly our grandparents' things. These right here, my cousins gave to me. All these are mostly grandparents' hand-me-downs. The one I'm cooking in today was my grandma's, my mother's mom's. Of course, Mom's in heaven with Grandma now, so I know she's happy. Makes me sad, but it makes her, I know she's happy. I know that. So I'm cooking this now. I'm not going to cook all this broth out of this because I think it's going to be really good. And I'm going to serve it in a bowl. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm pretty sure it's done. So this is the meal I'm serving. I've got salmon on rice. This is smoked salmon that Sweet Hunter smoked on his pit boss. This is our stewed okra. And it's got peppers and tomatoes, and I'm serving it with it. It smells heavenly. Y'all go cook something.